going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So Crystal Dynamics have officially released a new blog of the state of the game, and we have some good and bad news, but also what we do have, which is really cool, is finally a date for the next war table. But as always, let's try and absolutely crush 3 likes. That'd be really cool, and go ahead and click that big red subscribe button below, because hey, it's just a cool thing to do. It's like you don't have a birthday cake without candles, so go ahead and join the community if you have not already. So let's dive into this news, and of course it's only right that we technically start with the good news and then we'll kind of bounce to the bad news, and yeah, it's gonna be like a little structure like that. So diving into this, like I said, they have officially released a new blog, but they mentioned some new features coming to the game and they done some bullet points. But first of all, the most important thing to me anyway is that the ping system is basically being implemented into this game, and that the reassemble campaign is finally going to be replayable. Now, there are a few other more things like high contrast mode, hero icon visibility, etc. But for the ping system and just being able to replay the campaign is good news to me. But what's important is do not mistake this for the new Game Plus. So that also taking that into consideration, this is something that I personally think will get after the games on the next gen consoles, right? So once it hits PlayStation 5, etc., that's when I genuinely think we'll get the new Game Plus mode, because it just makes sense. And this is technically where the sad news comes in, because it says, and I quote, "We've also made the decision to shift our PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S launch to next year to ensure that we give our team the time to deliver a next-gen experience showcasing all that this game is meant to be. More details to come." Now, of course that it's sad, okay? It's sad in the sense of I wanted that next-gen experience like next month basically, but it's almost like a respawn opportunity for this game, which I guess you can take as a win, right? So I'm assuming when they did say that, when they said, you know, delivering that whole true next-gen experience, I'm assuming that the game is going to get a dramatic change, and I'm talking visually as well. Now, if I'm honest with you, that's what I personally think will save the game, in the sense of people seeing it in the bad light. Now, I know majority of us, of course, can bear it to an extent, although we do still have our comments and so forth. It's bearable, right? But that being said, like from just someone who's a fan of the Avengers wanting to try out this game, let's be honest, they're more than likely just gonna say it's terrible and not play it, unfortunately. That's just the way, I guess, the whole scene for this game is going right now. But that's where I think that the next gen being delayed is where they're going to make such a big, I guess, dramatic change as a whole. Maybe just not visually, but in terms of what the game has to offer. And again, I think in between that, they're just basically going to keep adding better things into the game we have as of now to just keep us engaged, I guess, right? But again, we gotta wait to find out some more news on that, and I'm genuinely excited. There's a few different things I want to add to that anyway as well, which we'll go more into later in this video. Now, back to the good news. It says, and I quote again, "As Mega Marvel fans ourselves, we can't wait to reveal more about the iconic superheroes, supervillains, and setting on the roster these coming months, starting with our next Marvel's Avengers War Table in November." Now, this is where I'm curious about a few things, okay? A, are we going to see Black Panther? I feel more than likely, because again, it was essentially set for the last War Table stream, so I guess it kind of only makes sense to at least give some type of a teaser in terms of a gameplay teaser, right? But the next thing is B, which is most of it going to be for next gen in terms of the new things, in terms of the roster and so forth that is coming to the game, and are we looking at the first half of 2020? And lastly, which is C, is it going to, I guess, just give a teaser for the full roster of all characters we know up until March? So I guess we'll have to wait and find out, but I'm basically talking about all the ones that have obviously been leaked left in that perspective, right? Are they just going to come out and just drop a big teasers on that? Because don't forget, I'm assuming, like, I don't know what their exact game plan is, but if I was in their position, and let's say everything is the same right now, what I would do personally is, seeing that the next gen is, of course, you know, that whole respawn opportunity, and you kind of got a second shot at stuff, right, as a whole, I guess you just want to be able to give as much fun teasers to keep people engaged in the game, but most importantly content wise as well, right? So you want people to still be interested in the game, because you can't still lose that interest. There still needs to be something going on for the current game that, of course, officially was released, that, do not forget, people did pay for, right? So it's not like it was a free game, so you still need to deliver that in that perspective. But what is important is that I'm assuming now Kate Bishop, of course, will come out when the War Table stream is up, which of course is in November. It would make sense. So technically that's being delayed as well. But also Hawkeye has been delayed to 2021. So now you can see where some confusion has entered the chat, right? Because Hawkeye was meant to be after Kate. Like, we had this whole, I guess, roadmap, I guess you could say, community roadmap, whatever you want to call it, that of course after Kate Bishop be in October, we were then going to get Hawkeye basically like towards the end of November, then we were talking Black Panther, and then essentially we were talking almost silence until next year. That's what made sense. But now, of course, Kate Bishop being delayed, Hawkeye going all the way to 2021, so I guess there's a theory here, because Hawkeye was meant to be, like I said, after Kate, so are we now not getting another DLC before then? Or is it simply being pushed over to next year, because both characters are a little similar, and I guess now they're just swapping the gap? Leave your thoughts on this below. Now, lastly, well, not lastly, actually, there's still a few more things I'm going to talk about, but almost lastly, we are getting a nice little package of in-game credits, which is essentially, again, a thank you to players that are still sticking around with this game, and just, I guess, a sign of appreciation. Now, you do get some in-game credits, which is 1,500, of course, 1,500 credits, 7,000 units, 20 DNA keys, and upgrade modules as well. Now, out of curiosity, I'd just like to add here as well, I'd like to know how many people have actually bought some skins with real money, like in terms of revenue that has been generated with that. Of course, it being that type of game where it needs to basically almost survive on, of course, in-game microtransactions, I'm genuinely, I guess, curious about that, but I guess technically we'll never know. But if they're offering stuff like this when it comes down to the credits, the units, whatever you want to call them, of course the credits, should I say, are enough for a legendary skin and a nameplate for the marketplace, which I guess is cool, right? Let's be honest, there's definitely some cool suits on there, and now on the roster you can basically just, I guess, have easy access to the marketplace for each character as well, which again is a big win. But all this stuff, just to add here as well, does start on November the 5th. And again, we're still talking a War Table stream as well. Now, second to last thing is they basically are adding the cloning lab. From today, it's making an appearance today up until Monday, but they did say that it will have a better reward, I guess, after the first time of completion, rather than consistently playing it over and over. So I guess take that how you want it. Now, lastly, we got a message from Scott on this blog. Essentially, he's just thanking us all, staying, I guess, with the game, right? And, you know, how, of course, you know, they're working in different conditions with, of course, everything that's going on this year. So I completely respect that, and you guys can see it on screen. So I guess that's cool nonetheless. But guys, leave all your thoughts on this in the comments below, and that's going to wrap up all the news we have today. So as always, subscribe for more awesome content. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and until the next one, adios amigos.